Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's 2:30. How did we get here again? 2:30. It's Thursday. It's yoga class number 76 with me, Dave Rennie. Thank you so much for joining. It's always a pleasure to host this class. And in these classes, we're mainly, I say mainly, looking at the physical aspect of yoga. And that's the aspect which we call asana. So asanas are kind of like when we get into the poses and we use our body to kind of like, work through whatever we're working through. Maybe it's just about getting nice and flexible. Maybe it's just having a really nice stretch. Maybe there's a little bit more in there for you. But when we connect this beautiful thing and this beautiful thing together, the mind and the body, then magic things happen. And that is ultimately our yoga practice. And yoga, when we think about it, and I've said it probably countless times before, what is yoga? Well, yoga is about coming into the present moment, and yoga is about concentrating on this and concentrating on this and concentrating on your breath. So all we're doing very gently is paying attention. That's it. We don't have to do anything else. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to feel a certain way. You don't have to worry about whether you're flexible or you're not flexible. Excuse the smoke. It's just whatever you want it to be. And if you come onto your yoga mat and you're thinking about, am I doing it right? I'm not any good at this. We already start defeating ourselves, and then we probably don't want to come back to it because we're like, I don't do yoga. I wasn't very good at it. Or I don't do yoga because I thought it was a bit serious. So, you make it as serious or as focused as it feels good for you. And, if you want to make it more about just being curious and going on this little exploration, then that's great as well. So it's a very, very personal practice, but how you practice is going to really dictate when you and how often you get back onto your mat. So try and find something that I like to think about is joyful movement. And that might be just moving your finger. That's a nice bit of joyful movement, or it could be getting into a headstand, or it could be something in between. It's not important what it looks like. It's not important what you do, but when you do move, try and move with a little bit of joy. And saying all that today, what I thought we would do is something a little bit different. So I want to do a much longer meditation today. Now, I know that there is meditation classes on here. I know Max does meditation. You've been doing sound baths with Carolina. So there's different aspects that we can bring in. And the meditation that I wanted to today is a loving kindness meditation. So what we'll do is we will move a little bit at the start just to kind of like work out any sort of like kinks in the body. And if you are feeling tight, and if you were coming to the yoga class because it's like, I want to move, Dave, I don't want to do a meditation, then let's work a little bit at the start on our asana practice. And then if you're already thinking, I don't do meditation, this is a guided meditation. I'm going to read from a script, hopefully quite well and fluidly. And then I'm going to engage you, hopefully. And so you don't have to do anything, but just listen to me, listen to my voice, which hopefully is going to be all right. And if you kind of like err on the side of, I don't do meditation, my mind's too busy, don't worry about it. This is your opportunity now, today, to do a bit of meditation. All right. So challenge yourself. And if you go, I can't do meditation, I'm always thinking, my mind's too busy. That's exactly why you should do meditation, because your mind's busy. So you're not trying to empty your mind of thought. That's not the point of it. And your mind probably will be active, but if your mind is active, let the thoughts come, let the thoughts go, concentrate on the breath, concentrating on what I'm saying, and then everything will be good. And you know what? You might even fall asleep. You might not, you might not get through it all. You might do. So see how you get on. So let's do a little bit of movement at the start. Feel free to get onto your mats if you're not there already. And if you are on the meditation side, I'll just talk us through the position that you probably want to get into when we get onto the meditation. So let me just make a couple of adjustments, and then I'm going to get back onto my mat. So you can do the same. I'm going to turn the comments on here. Oh, look, Laura's here, and Irene's here, and Jenny's here. So thank you guys for joining. I've got a nice cup of tea, and I'm going to have a slurp of that tea. It's a herbal tea, everyone, because I'm a yoga teacher. And I've got a bolster here. So if you've got a bolster or some cushions, and you can use that for later on. And then we'll just come to sit on our mats. I don't always drink herbal tea, by the way. I drink coffee as well. I don't drink alcohol, but I used to drink a lot of it. So we're all work in progress, aren't we? Okay, all right. So sit nice and tall, find some length in your spine. Bring your hands onto your knees and bring the hands with the palms face up. So just that idea of surrender and offering. We're not trying to pull ourselves into any shape. And then just do this, rock backwards and forwards on the spine, just for a little bit. You know, as you do this and you rock backwards and forwards, then eventually see if you can find a nice balance point where you're pressing your sit bones down into the ground, and then you find this beautiful length all the way through the spine. Then think about your head and see if you can stack your head, this thing here, right above your heart, this thing here, and then right above your hips. So you've got this one line of energy, and you give yourself loads of room to breathe into. So if I look at myself and I'm sat, here I am, I'm sat here like this. It's like a proper yogi, isn't it? So I'm not like this, you know, my belly collapses, my chest collapses, I'm rounded in my shoulders. You know, this is sort of the posture when we're on computers a lot of the time. This is where I want to be. And I want to sit nice and tall. And then just breathe, 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 breathe. And breathe in and out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. In through the nose, out through the nose. And make it nice and slow. And if all of that feels comfortable, then feel free to close your eyes just for a moment. Draw your attention inwards. Notice what you brought onto your mat. Beautiful. From here, if your eyes are closed, just gently bring your gaze up and open your eyes. Very nice. Lean back into your hands. So bring your hands behind you. Bring your feet out, split them nice and wide, drop your knees to either side. Just a little bit of movement in the hips, into the spine, just moving from side to side. Yeah, nice, everyone. Just keep that going. Simple movements. We're going to do a little bit of twisting after this. So bring the knees all the way back to center. See if you can cross your other shin in front. And then let's do this nice simple twist. So inhale, sweep your arms up, and then exhale, bring your arms down so they're kind of like in a T shape. Is that a T? It's a U shape, isn't it? A U shape. So we sometimes call this cactus arms. So bent at the elbow, but bringing the palms down. And then from here, take an inhale. And then as you exhale, twist over to the right. Keep the arms lifted. So your kind of movement is coming from here. It's coming from your navel center. Nice. Inhale back to center. Then twist over to the left. Nice. Inhale to center. This time, twist over to the right. Then drop your left hand on your right knee. Drop your right hand behind. Press into your fingertips first of all. So find length back in the spine, how we sat at the start. As you exhale, twist over to the right. So you're never quite static. So every inhale, find length. Every exhale, come into your twist. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling into your twist. One more like that. Nice deep inhale. And a full release and exhale. Beautiful. Come all the way back to center. Lift the hands. Have that bend in the elbows. Inhale to the left. Left hand down. Sorry, right hand down. On the left knee. So right hand on the left knee. Left hand behind. Press into your fingertips. Really find length. Exhale. Twist over to the left. Every inhale, find length. Every exhale, come into your twist. Inhaling. Exhaling. Inhale. Exhale. One more like that. Nice deep inhale. And a full exhale. Inhale, come all the way back to center. Keep your hands on your knees, and then we're going to do some neck turns. This is really simple. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale left. Exhale right. And then just get into that nice rhythmic movement. You can close the eyes. You can keep the gaze soft. You can stare into the near distance or the far distance. Whatever works for you. You can smile. You don't have to, but relax your jaw wherever you are. Relax your cheeks. Relax the skin around your eyes. Think about relaxing your forehead and the crown of your head. And you can do that probably by bringing a little grin on your face. It's all right. You don't have to, by the way. I'm not telling you that you've got to be happy all the time, because that's not very reasonable. but a little grin can help. Joyful movement, remember. My yoga teacher says laugh and sweat every day. Not laugh and sweat all day, that'd be too much. Laugh and sweat all day. I can't, I'm exhausted. I'm dehydrated and my face really hurts. A couple more times on either side. And then inhale, come all the way back to center. Beautiful. I'm enjoying myself, so hopefully you are. Come on to all fours. Nice. Spread out through the fingers. Split your knees super wide. Bring your big toes together. And then bring your sit bones back onto the heels. So this, on first child's pose, what I like to do is, I've already found this connection. So I start here, press into my arms, and then I'm here. Then I can lengthen down, and I can bring my forehead onto my hands. That sometimes feels good. Or onto the floor. And if you're a little bit higher up like this, that's all right. But really lengthen your arms out. And then breathe deeply into your spine. Breathe deeply into your hips. Send the breath where it's needed. Take some nice nourishing breaths here. Beautiful, nice. From here, with the hands stretched out in front, come to all fours, stack the knees right underneath the hips again. Take an inhale, drop your belly down. Lift your head and your heart. Exhale, round your spine. Inhale forward. Exhale round. Inhale forward. Exhale round. And then just move at your own rhythm. Cat and cow. Three more rounds. Beautiful, nice. Inhale, come back to a neutral spine. One downward facing dog in this class. So tuck your toes under, your feet are about hip width apart. Spread out through your fingers first of all. Think about your arms, begin to lengthen them, then lift your hips, and then come into downward facing dog. And make it a little bit dynamic. So look at me, got nice bend in the knees, and then I've got loads of length in my spine. If I do this, it makes it a little bit harder. Do this, I can lengthen my spine. Bend the knees, backwards and forwards. Work it out. Remember, yoga is not about flexibility. It can help, and it's certainly an advantage if you're flexible, but it's not important. So remember, with your yoga practice, you will become more flexible, but it doesn't mean that we'll all get to the same place. Certainly not me anyway. But if it was about flexibility, I never would have got onto my mat. Saying that, I thought it was, and then I realized very quickly it wasn't. From here, take an inhale. See if you can do this. Round the spine, ripple forward, and then come into a plank position. Nice. Keep the hips nice and neutral. And we'll do one more downward facing dog. Exhale, lift the hips back into downward facing dog. Beautiful. From here, walk the hands back towards your feet. So get the feet super wide, right on the edges of your mat. Keep a bend in the knees. Fold in low, and then hang in a standing forward fold. And the hands can be here, opposite elbows. They can be on the floor, the shins, the calves, the thighs, the knees. Wherever feels good. You can grab opposite elbows. I've probably given you about 8 options there. So find somewhere that feels good for your hands, for your spine. Bring some weight into the toes. Sway from side to side probably. Whatever works. And as you bring the weight into your big toe mounts, then notice what that does to your hamstrings, to your lower back. Then bend super deep into the knees. Place your hands on your hips. Roll all the way up. And then come to stand. Beautiful. Really nice. Come to the center of your mat. I'm going to turn to face the camera. I'll just move my mat a little bit. And then just roll the shoulders a few times. Backwards, forwards. Doesn't matter. Swing the arms, maybe from side to side. Just bring a little bit of fluid movement into your body, and then eventually you're going to come and sit or lie down on your mat. So probably lying down is the nicest way to do this, because it's going to be, I guess, just shy of half an hour. So what I would recommend is that you get super comfortable. If you're going to sit, maybe sit on something like a bolster. You don't have to be kind of like sat in a super aligned posture. What I would recommend that you do is that you align your body in a way where you're not going to fidget for the next half an hour. You might do, and that's all right, by the way. You know, if you feel like you want to bring a little bit of movement into your practice, that's all right as well. But lying on your back can feel really beautiful here. And if you do that, this is a loving kindness meditation. At some point, I'll invite you to put your hand on your heart, and then you can put your hand on your belly, or you can be here with your hands on your heart. So that's where we're going to be. So this loving kindness meditation, I'm just going to make 1 or 2 adjustments to my screen, and then we can get into this. All right. Okay. Beautiful. So as I said, just settle into a comfortable position. And then as you settle into this comfortable position, allow yourself to completely relax. Nice. From here, just take a deep breath and then release that breath. And then just for a few moments, see if you can just focus on your breath. And see, really important this is, see if you can clear your mind of worries. Sometimes that's difficult, isn't it? So spend a little bit of time here just to clear your mind of worries. And as I said that, you might have had a worry that comes into your mind. So spend a little bit of time just to let it go. Nice. Beautiful. Just notice this. Notice when you're breathing in, and then notice when you're breathing out. And then just let yourself experience and be aware of the sensations of breath, the sensations of breathing. And then what I'd like you to do is picture someone who is close to you, someone towards that you feel, a great amount of love. And then place your hand on your heart if that feels comfortable, maybe both hands on your heart, and then notice how that love feels in your heart. And then notice the sensations around your heart. Perhaps you feel like a sensation of warmth or openness, maybe tenderness. Continue breathing, and then just focus on these feelings as you visualize your loved one. And then as you breathe out on your next, obviously, exhale, imagine, so a little bit of imagination, that you're extending a golden light that holds your warm feelings from the center of your heart. So if your hand's on your heart, you can really feel that. And then imagine that golden light reaches out to your loved one and it brings them peace and happiness. That's nice. And at the same time, I'd like you to silently recite these phrases. May you have happiness. May you be free from suffering. May you experience joy and ease. May you have happiness. May you be free from suffering. May you experience joy and ease. And just silently recite those phrases to yourself. And as you're doing that, just remember to extend the golden light to your loved one, all the way from your beautiful heart. And then feel with all your heart that your loved one has that happiness and that freedom from suffering. We'll stay here just for another 30 seconds or so. I'll be quiet. Now, what I'd like you to do is think of a time when this same person was suffering. So maybe they experienced an illness or an injury or a difficult time in a relationship. So how do you feel when you think of their suffering, and how does your heart feel? So see if you can see, do the sensations change? Do you continue to feel warmth and compassion and openness and tenderness? Maybe there's other sensations, perhaps something like an aching sensation, sadness. And then continue to visualize your loved one as you breathe. Just be aware of your breath. And then imagine that you're extending the golden light from your heart to your loved one. And the golden light is easing their suffering. And then extend this light out to them. And then draw in your exhalation with this strong, heartfelt wish that they be free from their suffering. And then recite silently to them, excuse me. May you be free from suffering. May you have joy and happiness. May you be free from this suffering. May you have joy and happiness. Just be aware of the sensations of the breath. And then just notice, how does that feel in your heart? What happened to your heart? So did the sensations change? Did you continue to feel that warmth and that openness and that tenderness? And again, were there other sensations? Back to that, was there an aching sensation perhaps? And ultimately, did you have a wish to take away the other's suffering? Did you have a wish to take away the other's suffering? So sometimes we kind of find it easier to have compassion for other people. It feels easier to be kinder to other people. And the way that we treat ourselves, we wouldn't dream of treating other people like that, with that viciousness, that way that we can turn in on ourselves. And when we realize that our thought patterns and our processes, sometimes we're like, that goes there, I can put that in that box. Then we work out ways that we're mean and we're unkind to ourselves. And then we just learn ways to change that. So that idea that you got to love yourself before you love other people. Some people are like, nah, whatever. But it's true. In my eyes, anyway. So compassion for yourself. This is the next part. So what I'd like you to do is contemplate a time when you have suffered yourself. Human nature, Suffering is part of our human condition. So perhaps you experience like a conflict. Could be a conflict with someone that you really cared about. I guess we've all been there. Or you didn't succeed in something, or you didn't get something that you wanted. Or again, like all of us, you were physically ill. That's a tough thing, isn't it? Illness. So again, just notice how you feel when you think of your suffering. How does your heart feel? And now it's about compassion for yourself. Do you continue to feel that warmth and that openness and that tenderness? Again, are there other sensations? Perhaps, again, that aching sensation. And just as we wish for our loved one's suffering to end, we wish that our own suffering would end. And we may also envision our own pain and suffering leaving us, so that we can experience that joy and that happiness and that bliss. We may. And then continue to visualize yourself as you breathe. Come back to your breath and notice your breath in your body. Maybe it feels really relaxed. And then again, imagine that golden light that emanates from your heart, and it's easing your suffering. And with each exhalation, should I say, each exhalation, feel the light emanating within you. And then with that light emanating within you, with that strong heartfelt wish that you be free from your suffering. And then silently recite to yourself, may I be free from this suffering. May I have joy and happiness. May I be free from this suffering. May I have joy and happiness. I'm going to remain quiet for a couple of minutes. Draw your attention inwards. If your mind wanders, just come back to the flow of your breath. Let the thoughts come, and then just simply let the thoughts go. And then again, maybe your hands are on your heart. Notice how it feels in your heart. What kind of sensations did you feel? So we ask ourselves this question: did they change from when you were envisioning your own suffering? Maybe you might think about how this is different from when you wished your loved one's suffering to be relieved. Did you feel that warmth and that openness and that tenderness? Was there other sensations, maybe pressure? Did you have a wish to take away your own suffering? Now, see if you can visualize someone you neither like nor dislike, a neutral person, someone you may see in your everyday life. It might be a colleague or a classmate, someone you're not familiar with. It could be a bus driver, a stranger that you pass every day on the street. And although you're not familiar with this person, think of how this person may be suffering in their own life. This person may also have conflicts with loved ones, or they may have suffered illness, or they may be suffering illness, or imagine a situation in which this person may have suffered. And then again, maybe with your hand on your heart, notice your heart center, and then ask yourself, does it feel different? Do you feel warmth and openness and tenderness? So always coming back to that warmth, openness, tenderness. Are there other sensations? Ask yourself, how does your heart feel? Does it feel different from when you were envisioning your own or your loved one's suffering? And then just continue to visualize this person as you breathe. Imagine that you're extending the golden light from your heart to theirs, and the golden light is easing this neutral person's suffering. And extend this light out, and then draw in your exhalation with this really strong, heartfelt wish that they be free from their suffering. And see if it can be as strong as your wish for your own or your loved one's suffering to be relieved. And then again, silently recite to them, may you be free from this suffering. May you have joy and happiness. May you be free from this suffering. May you have joy and happiness. So again, just notice how this feels in your heart. Do the sensations change from when you were envisioning this person's suffering? Did you continue to feel that warmth, that openness, and that tenderness? Were there other sensations? Did you have a wish to take away this person's suffering? And then how are these sufferings, I guess, different from when you were wishing to take away your own or your loved one's suffering? Maybe they weren't. Maybe they were the same. Maybe they were different. The final part is the trickiest part. This is compassion for an enemy. So I'd like you to visualize someone that you have difficulty in your life. Could be a parent. Could be a child with whom you disagree with, or maybe an ex-partner, a roommate maybe with whom you've had an argument, or a co-worker with whom you don't get along with. And although you may have like negative feelings towards this person, think of how this person has suffered in their life. Think about this person that they've also had conflicts with loved ones, or they've dealt with failures, or they've suffered illness. think of a situation in which this person may have suffered. And then notice your heart center again, and just notice, does it feel different? Keep asking ourselves that. Does it feel different? Do you feel that warmth, that openness? Do you feel that tenderness? Are there other sensations? Again, perhaps it's an aching sensation. How does your heart feel different from when you're envisioning your own or your loved one's suffering? And then just continue to visualize this person as you breathe. Imagine that you're extending the golden light from your heart to them, and that the golden light is easing their suffering, and then extend this light out to them during your exhalation. And then with this strong heartfelt wish that they be free from their suffering. And it's tricky, this one, isn't it? But see if this wish can be as strong as you wish for your own or your loved one's suffering to be relieved. And silently recite to them, may you be free from this suffering. May you have joy and happiness. May you be free from this suffering. May you have joy and happiness. And at this point, if you're suffering, if you're having difficulty in wishing for this person's suffering to be relieved, then try and think of a positive interaction that you might have had with this person that can help you in wishing them joy and happiness. Perhaps there were times when you did get along, you laughed together, or you worked well together on an assignment, for example, or it was just a positive interaction at some point. And then continue to silently recite, may you be free from this suffering. May you have joy and happiness. Just here for another 30 seconds or so. May you be free from this suffering. May you have joy and happiness. Again, just notice how this feels in your heart. Notice if the sensations change. Did you feel warmth, openness, tenderness? How were these feelings different from when you were wishing for your own or your loved one's sufferings to end? Were there other sensations? Maybe perhaps a tightness in the chest. Ultimately, did you have a wish to take away this person's suffering? And now we're almost at the end of this meditation. Let's end with a wish for all other beings suffering to be relieved. So just as I wish to have peace and happiness and to be free from suffering, so do all beings. And then see if you can bask in the joy of this open-heartedness. You're wishing to ease the suffering of all the people, and how this attempts to bring joy, happiness, and ultimately compassion to your heart at this very moment. And now that we've finished this compassionate meditation session, if your eyes were closed, when you're ready, you may gently open your eyes. And then if you're lying down on the floor, then you can bring a little bit of movement into your body. Maybe wriggle out through your fingers and your toes. Maybe stretch it out, yawn it out. Maybe drop your chin from side to side. And then we'll just all meet in this seated position where we started the class, which was just over 40 minutes ago. And then let's all place our left hand on our heart and our right hand on our left hand. And feeling those sensations of warmth and openness and tenderness, noticing the effects of your practice today. And then maybe just bring your hands into prayer, and you can lower your head down towards your prayer, and you might want to say Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for doing that with me today. I promise you next week we will do something more physical. But I think sometimes it's nice to kind of dip into the meditation side of it, because sometimes we're not able to move our bodies like we want to move our bodies. And sometimes, we'll feel tired and we need yoga to energize us, but other times we feel tired and we need yoga to kind of bring us into equilibrium and just to even everything out. So not every week that we'll do those meditations, but now and again. What were we on? Week number 76 or something. I think I've only done maybe one or two meditations that have been that long. So thank you for joining today. Take it with you, feel it in your heart, and I'll see you all next week. That's the plan anyway. I'll be here. Hopefully some of you guys will. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. And see you all next week. Namaste.